Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The Rangers have won 8 straight games. This is their longest winning streak since November 2015. They beat the Dallas Stars 3-1. And the star of this game, no pun intended, was Igor Shesterkin, who made 41 saves on 42 Dallas Star shots. And like I said last episode, although I kind of thought it would be quick, I really did, that the Rangers would need good goaltending to win this game. And that's exactly what they got. To be fair, the Rangers played a really good first 2 periods. And slow starts have been an issue for the Rangers. They got off to a pretty good start. They had a 1-0 lead after the first period. But in the third, Dallas really took it to the Rangers, and Igor made some unbelievable saves. Just the one on Tyler Seguin, I thought for sure he was going to score. Now, look, if Seguin lifts the puck, it's in. But it was still a great save by Igor to, get his stick out there and to stop it from going in. That would have tied the game late. So he was phenomenal. And think about the fact that he, in the game, his last game before the Stadium Series game was a shutout versus Calgary where he played really well. So he really has been doing better. Unfortunately for Igor, there's been too much inconsistency for me to say, well, all right, he's good to go. I'm not going to go there, but he was excellent in this game. So, yeah, Rangers are 37-16-3. Their record is back to being, kind of where it was earlier in the year when they were, winning a bunch of games. So, you love to see that. They're 20-7 at home. Like I've said, as much as it's not like the Rangers are bad on the road, they're 17-9-3, but the Rangers, there has been a bit of a home ice advantage. And I guess I'd say more so it feels like maybe goal prevention, if anything, even though sometimes that can be luck, but it does appear as if a lot of these wins that I can think of within this 8-game winning streak, the home games, not the Montreal one, but some of the other ones were low-scoring type games. Colorado, Tampa, Calgary, now Dallas have all been that type of game. And the goal scorers for the Rangers in this affair were Adam Fox, who scored in the first period, and Kaapo Kakko, who it ends up being he gets the game-winning goal as it turns out. And Kakko's on a 5-game point streak. He's been really good lately beyond the points. He's playing with more confidence, being a little bit more assertive. There's still more to go there, but I like what I've seen from him. And it was a 4-on-4 goal. And, look, he hasn't really had those opportunities. We don't see him, where like 3-on-3, and even 4-on-4. Like his ice time just isn't really what it's been at other points in his career. But he definitely deserves to play more, that's for sure. And then the Rangers did get an empty net goal. Vincent Trocheck scored that one. As far as Trocheck was concerned, I thought he was a little bit off tonight. Especially early. He had chances. He did, but could not bury any of those. Scott Wedgwood was in net for the Dallas Stars. One thing that I didn't recognize when I was previewing the game in the last episode, previewing this game, was that Dallas had actually played yesterday against Boston. So that, and Dallas lost a tough one there. They lost in the shootout, a game that Dallas probably deserved to win. So, not so much the fact that it was Wedgwood instead of Ottinger, because I thought Wedgwood was fine. If Ottinger's in there, the result might be just about the same, I would think. But just the fact that, look, Dallas has played a lot lately. So this game was maybe not as difficult as I originally thought, but still, it wouldn't have changed my opinion much. And Dallas outshot the Rangers 42-26. Like, this was a game the Rangers could have easily lost for many reasons. They were on a 7-game winning streak. They're coming off an emotional high against that win against the Islanders at MetLife Stadium. But yet, the most impressive thing was the quick start. I shouldn't say quick start, but was a just effective beginning. So, because the Rangers had to chase in this game, it could have gotten ugly. So the fact they had the lead for, the entirety of this game was key in them winning. But Dallas, look, I look at the Dallas Stars, and, they, I think, are one of the best teams in the NHL. I really do. I mean, certainly you look at the Western Conference, and they are one of the top 2 or 3 teams, I would say. So this is no small feat. We know that the Rangers lost to Dallas earlier in the season in a game that got away from them in the third. So that's the good thing there too, is that the Rangers were able to protect this lead this time, but it wasn't pretty. And Igor was the key to the win in the third as the Stars outshot the Rangers 17-6. So let's talk about this one. And Ryan Lindgren, he was in there. It's crazy how that's the thing. He gets hurt, so he'll leave games, but yet he may end up playing the next game. You just never know, right? So, and we have seen him sustain like legit injuries that cost him time. So it's not to say that you can't take it for granted. But Lindgren, he wore the face shield. We've seen a lot of that this year from different Rangers. Barclay Goodrow, Jimmy Vesey, Eric Gustafson, now Ryan Lindgren. I don't think there was anyone else, but it's been a thing. But yeah, Lindgren had a nice cut right underneath his eye. It's just it's crazy. These hockey players are out of their minds. I mean, and Lindgren especially, just a total warrior. But like I said, Rangers get off to a pretty solid start. And they get on the board first. At 7:46, Adam Fox scores his 9th goal of the season from Panarin and Lindgren. So this was a shot from the point by Lindgren that Wedgwood couldn't quite corral. Panarin's able to kind of dig it out, goes behind the net, circles, and he finds Adam Fox, who just takes a quick shot, and with Wedgwood kind of a little out of position, scores the goal. Lafreniere was kind of in the middle of that as well. But Fox scores, gives the Rangers 1-0 lead, and for Fox, I think he has 7 points in his last 3 games. The stats are definitely coming along for Adam Fox, who's been, I think, just about, maybe quite literally, point a game this season. And of course, he missed, those 10 games back in November. So 1-0 Rangers. Then at 11:47, Matt Duchene interferes with Ryan Lindgren. The Ranger power play was not good tonight. So that, for me, remains not something that I'm concerned about in the long run, but something that has been a struggle for this team. Because they were successful against the Islanders, but let's think about it for a second. 2 of those goals were 6-on-4. So you had a 2-man advantage. So there was 1 goal that was 5-on-4, but the point is that the power play has struggled, and tonight it did as well. And it wasn't, there was some good zone time on a couple of the power plays, but typically speaking, it really wasn't great. So Stars killed it off, and then at 18:37, Adam Fox holds Jamie Benn. So this power play extends into the second. The Rangers do kill it off. But then they take another penalty at 1:43. Artemi Panarin hooks Benn. Rangers penalty kill does the job again. The score remains 1-0. Then at 6:41, Jamie Benn trips Mika Zibanejad. So Zibanejad draws a couple penalties in this game. I thought Mika was very engaged. The one thing I'll say was frustrating. There were a couple of 2-on-1 chances with Kreider, whether that be shorthanded or whether that be even strength. And, he just tried to force it to Kreider. And it was very obvious that he was going to do that. If I'm Mika, that works sometimes, but you got to shoot it. You got to keep the defense honest. They basically knew that it was coming. And look, Zibanejad, who scored a really big goal last game, you want to see him a little bit more of a shoot-first mentality in those scenarios. So Rangers get on the power play, but about halfway into it, Trocheck trips Lindell. So it's 4-on-4, and then some action ensues goal-wise. On the 4-on-4, the Rangers take a 2-0 lead. At 8:23, Kaapo Kakko scores his 7th goal of the season from Gustafson and Miller. Nice cycling play. Brodzinski was involved as well. But Kakko, who originally had a chance, then, circles it around. Miller, Gustafson makes a nice little move. Kakko takes the quick shot. Short side, blocker side, past Scott Wedgwood, and gives Rangers a 2-0 lead. Again, it's good to see Kakko producing, and I hope that he gets a little more ice time. But, 2 goals, I think it's 2 goals and 3 assists in his last 5 games. And it's a 5-game point streak. So he's been consistent. Hopefully he keeps it up. So then the Dallas penalty ends and the Stars have a power play. And on it they score. Heiskanen gets his 7th goal of the season from Ben and Pavelski. So this goal is at 9:10. And Igor did everything he could. Not a great clearing attempt by Lindgren. He kind of blindly flung it to, I believe it was either Ben or Pavelski. Might have been Ben. And so it ends up in the back of the Rangers' net. Score is now 2-1 Rangers. At 10:20, Hanley holds Zibanejad, but the Rangers don't score on that. So it's 2-1 Rangers headed to the third. And Dallas was definitely the much better team in the third period. However, Rope Hintz is called for goalie interference at 6:17. But the Rangers don't score on that. And then at 10:17, Gustafsson cross-checks Pavelski, but the Rangers penalty kill really does well here. Dallas didn't get too many chances, so I like that. Of note, just, noticing the third period, didn't love Brodzinski's third period. I like what the line's done in general, but I thought that that line was kind of hemmed in their zone. It seemed like he was, let me see the face-off totals on the game. Because it seemed like he was losing a lot of them. Never mind. Well, never mind. The face-off percentage is good, so maybe it was more so just the ones that I was paying attention to, the defensive zone draws and the important ones, but not to get on Brodzinski specifically, because, look, he was a part of that 4-on-4 goal, but yeah, there was one specific bad shift where I think he iced it and and had some bad giveaways. Another thing that I'm going to say is, there's just a little bit too much, with Barclay Goodrow, Laviolette, and most coaches would. Goodrow's just one of those guys that coaches are going to like, and Goodrow gets a lot of key ice time at the end of the games, and it's just, it worries me, but yet, that's his role. I mean, if not that, then, he'll never play, so that's just kind of what it is, but, because you look at the ice times, and a lot of the young kids did not play much. Rempe 508, and I thought Rempe in the short time he was in there was noticeably effective. Edstrom 747, Cooley 859. So that kind of sucks for Cooley, where he, kind of loses time, and I don't think that's deserved. I get it, they won, so I'm not going to go crazy about it. But anyway, as we go further in the third, Igor makes some unbelievable saves. Like I said, the one on Sagan was just insane. I'm thinking from my vantage point watching it, it seemed like, all right, this is going to be a goal. Igor's out of position. They're leaving him wide open in front, and somehow it doesn't go in. You look at the replay, and it wasn't like Sagan totally fucked it up. Sure, he's got to try to lift that, but he got it. I mean, it's not like he fanned on it. He got a good piece of it, and Igor made a great save, and Igor made a bunch of good saves. Eventually, the Rangers ice it. Not icing, but they would win the game effectively. At 18-19, Vincent Trocheck scores an empty net goal, his 19th goal of the season from Kreider and Zibanejad, and the Rangers win 3-1. So the wins pile up for the Rangers, which is good, and now they will face the Devils. This is going to be a really, really interesting game for many reasons. The Rangers played the Devils earlier in the season at New Jersey, and they won, and that was a highly entertaining game. That was a game where Jimmy Vesey had a late game-winning goal. But that was entertaining. These Devils-Rangers games usually are. This will be the second of 4 meetings between these two teams. This will be the second final game of the regular season between these two teams at the Prudential Center. And the Devils are coming off of a loss tonight. 6-2, I think, was the final versus the Washington Capitals. So, look, I mean, both teams should be ready to go and hungry. I mean, certainly the Devils will be. They are right outside the playoff line, the cut line. So, they are really going to want that win. And the Rangers are on an 8-game winning streak. Would like to see that continue. It's going to come to an end at some point, but would like to see that continue on. And I would have to believe that Igor will be in net. Coming off this game, knowing it's Rangers Devils, I'd be surprised if it's not Shesterkin, and then Flyers Blue Jackets is Saturday, Sunday. You figure Quick will get one of those games for sure, and Igor the other. So, but yeah, this is going to be definitely one of the more interesting games, and I think the rest of the way. How many games left are in the season for the Rangers? 26. I think a good amount of them are divisional games. Just thinking about it, knowing that. We've played, it's been a lot of Western Conference, it feels like. And so, yeah, a lot of Eastern Conference, I would think, for the rest of the way, and specifically the division. So those will be interesting games. It's not as if Carolina would be the one team that could catch Rangers, and they certainly can. The Rangers are 6 points out of Carolina, and the Hurricanes have a game in hand, and those teams do play each other one more time, and that game's at Carolina. but the Rangers are really climbing up the overall standings. In the Eastern Conference, they're right up there, like I've said, with Florida and Boston. That's kind of somewhat of a 3-team race up in the Eastern Conference. And then you got, Vancouver. But yeah, like anything can happen. Whereas when the Rangers were struggling, I thought, all right, the Rangers will settle it. Like they're going to have a good record. They could very well win the division. But now you're kind of back into thinking like, hey, like they could really end up with one of the top point totals in the league. But there are still improvements that need to be had. And it's key that, like Shesterkin finding his game, which is so huge. Like Kakko really emerging. That's also important. But then on the trade deadline side, I think that in looking at the roster right now, and whether Blake Wheeler was in there or not, like you got to find someone next to Zibanejad and Kreider. VZ's there now, but that's not going to be something that's sustainable. And as much as you could move up Kakko temporarily, you really ideally would want to keep him on the third line. And then also, as much as I like Brodzinski, and I would want him to stay in the lineup if possible, you need to improve upon that third line. Like really, it's the first line right wing and third line center. Those are the two big things. So yeah, if those trades are successful on some level, that will really help this team a lot too. But, we got a few more weeks until that might come into play. So, Rangers win again. 8-game winning streak. Shesterkin was phenomenal. 41 saves. The Rangers beat the Dallas Stars 3-1.